Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Budget Senpai. Today we have kind of a fun one, right? So budgeting sometimes gets a bad rep, right? Think about money and all these like uptight things. But at the end of the day, why do we budget? It's, for me, it's so I can have fun and not have to really think about money. I just want to live, right? But we're born into this world where money is the status quo. You have to engage in this monetary system to even get around. So today's episode, I'm going to go over budgeting for an anime convention because in about a few days, I'll be at Holiday Matsuri in Orlando having a really good time. And I kind of wanted to share like this facet of budgeting and how I approach going to these conventions and how I plan my budgeting, my money, just some steps you can take to have a good time and keep a little cash in your wallet. So the first thing you really gotta understand is that I believe in the power of writing things down. Okay? You can have a million ideas in your head. You can tell yourself, I'm gonna start working out, right? I'm gonna build this business. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna spend less money. I'm gonna save more money. The secret to really actualizing a lot of those things is to simply write it down. Okay, so you have a plan, you've got something that solidifies itself into words, and you can look at it and you can objectively say, okay, am I making real progress towards these goals? So the first step towards, say you're going to an anime convention, you don't want to overspend, write down what your budget might be, okay? It can be as simple as pulling out your phone and just opening a notepad in there and saying, okay, I'm going to spend, $100 or $300 or whatever your budget looks like, or $20 if you can get away with it. And that's just mostly for the merchandise and stuff. Artist alley and all those things. You've got other costs too sometimes. Hotel, travel, food. It's a lot of things to consider. I say write it down. Write down how much money you think you can afford, how much you want to spend on these things, and divvy it up. Find out what's important to you. All right, so that's step one, is writing things down. Step two is going to be find what makes you happy. So everybody goes to anime conventions for different reasons. A lot of people, Artist Alley is a really big thing. Personally, I love walking around Artist Alley, but I'm not a huge shopper. I don't really have the impulse buy feel. And then aside from Artist Alley, you've got kind of the vendor hall where you can buy things that I'm honestly even less of a fan of those things. If you can get it on, a big box retail store, I'm like, I'd rather shop from local artists who come out and show their stuff. So if that's what you're into, the Artist Alley and the marketplaces, budget accordingly, right? Set yourself a budget. Say, if it's a convention that takes cash, just bring a wallet with or an envelope rather, with a certain amount of money that is your maximum for spending. If you're using credit cards, then every time you buy something, pull out your phone and write down what you spent for that day and add it up at the end of the day and make sure you're not overspending. So another thing that you might want to budget for is a cosplay, right? So, you can buy something off a retailer for pretty cheap, or if you're really thrifty, maybe go to like a thrift store and shop around for parts and build it yourself. But set a budget for that too, and that's going to help you tighten up on your shopping list and your plan for building this cosplay. And then finally, another reason people go to anime conventions, my reason, I just kind of go to party. Like, I like the late night stuff. I like the music. I like hanging out and just meeting people and just just kind of letting loose and having fun, which doesn't really cost anything, which is great. But there are, of course, actual other costs. Hotel, food, all these things. So, number 2, again, figure out what you're really into, what you're there for, and then budget accordingly. If Artist Alley is your thing, maybe put most of your expenditures into, I'm going to buy cool stuff from local artists. Or if you're a foodie, set aside for the food trucks or something. Just kind of have a plan. All right? Write it down, know what you want to do, and then act accordingly and stick to the plan. All right? And then, beyond that, those are the 2 main facets of what I wanted to talk about. But I'll give you some other tips. I've got a few additional tips for how to save money, right? Travel. How are you going to get there? If it's far away and you got to drive, you're going to be spending gas money. So carpooling is an option. If you got some friends that are going together, everybody chips in, and then, you have fun on the drive down or up, and it just makes it a lot nicer. So think about how you're going to travel there. Parking is usually an added expense, so factor that in. Could be like $30 or more, depending on where you're going. So again, carpooling is going to be a great way to mitigate that cost and to kind of share that. And it's just more fun when you're hanging out with like-minded people and friends. So consider carpooling just to save on that. Another big expense is hotel. This one, hotels are expensive. So again, if you can find friends to just chip in, bring a sleeping bag, sleep on the floor, whatever you got to do, there's no shame in it. Like, anime conventions, at least the ones I go to, you're there to have a good time, to party, stay up late, sleep. Yeah, you should be getting 6 hours of sleep every night. Okay. Get your 6 hours of sleep. It's important. You need your cognition in order to make good decisions and to feel your best. So don't overdo it. All right. But it is nice to have a comfortable place to sleep. So if it's a multi-day convention, I save up, I budget, put in a little money for my paycheck each month. I set it aside into a special fund for travel, which is what anime conventions kind of fall under the travel category for me. I say we're going to go somewhere, have a good time, and I'm not going to feel guilty about spending this money because I've worked all year towards setting it aside for this purpose. All right, so think about the hotel. Another thing you got to watch out for with the hotel, right, is any hidden extra fees. So a lot of hotels will try to charge you a resort fee or something, some other kind of amenities. When you check in, just double check and say, hey, like, are there any resort fees that are being added to this? Because, to be honest, I'm not really using the resort amenities at all. I'm here for the convention. I'm here to cosplay and to get weird with my people and to have fun. I really don't need to go to the splash park. It's not on my agenda. There's panels to go to. There's cosplay raves and all kinds of like cool stuff to do that I'm going to be fully committed to. So sometimes they try to sneak in those resort fees. Just talk to the front desk person and just explain you would like to waive all those fees if there are any, and be nice about it. Don't ever be punchy or mean. You can get a lot done by being firm, confident, and kind, especially with money. Like sometimes all you got to do is ask and don't make a big deal out of it. If someone tries to like pull a fast one over you, it's probably someone pressuring them to make more money. It's this whole big cycle. So just stay cool and make sure you're not getting taken advantage of financially. And, hotels, again, just look out for those resort fees or any other kind of added fees and just ask to have them waived. Okay. And then my final point for staying at a hotel, at a convention, or for going for the day is budgeting for food. This one's a big one. Food trucks can be really expensive. And if there's no food trucks around, you might have to go to the local restaurants, and depending where you're at, it might not be the best choices of food. So, me personally, if I'm staying at a hotel for a few nights, I pack a cooler and I treat it just like I'm camping. Okay? You can bring a few of the real basic necessities like oatmeal, peanut butter, and protein powder. Make a really good breakfast. And all you need is an electric tea kettle, bring a bowl and a spoon, and just whip it up right there, right? And then bring some dish detergent and a sponge, and you can wash out your bowl and just let it rest and, dry off. Bring your own coffee maker, because a lot of times the coffee, it's not so great in the rooms. Continental breakfasts are becoming a thing of the past, unfortunately. So just kind of make yourself very self-reliant. Treat it like a camping trip. Sometimes I'll even bring perishable foods like steak and frozen, chicken that I've marinated ahead of time. Throw some dry ice on top of it. And then I got a little butane grill that, may or may not use in locations that are safe enough to get away with grilling. Go up by the pool and just grill some steaks. And you might make some new friends. And I think it's kind of fun anyway, just to make your own food. So you're eating healthier, you're saving money. And you're not engaging in this system where you gotta just feel compelled to keep spending money. So that way you can spend your money on things you do maybe the artist alley, giving your money to the artists who come out there and, put on, do all this hard work to be here and to create. So those are just some of my kind of tips for if you're going to an anime convention and you want to make the best of the money that you have. There's a few things I'll kind of recap. So again, 1, writing things down. You've got to write things down, or else it's just going to get lost in the chaos, right? If you don't write it down, I promise you're just going to forget about it. You're going to gloss over it, and it's not going to become important to you. You've got to write down a plan, even if it's as simple as saying, okay, I'm going to spend a maximum of, X amount of dollars at this convention, and then try to divvy that up, maybe a couple $100 for food, a couple $100 for artist alley, whatever the hotel costs, and then just look at that and understand that that is your objective, to stay underneath that total amount. Write it down. Find what makes you happy. Number 2 is just pick the categories that mean the most to you. So artist alley for some people want to cosplay and spend more on that. Some people may just want to eat out and enjoy good food. All these decisions are fine, but you got to find what's important to you, and maybe just emphasize on one that is more important to you. Maybe, if you got a ton of money and you're not worried, maybe you can do it all. But most of us, we work for a living, and we're trying to count our pennies and make sure we're not overspending. So pick what's important to you and start from there. Then the rest of the stuff, just figure it out. And also, for the hotel, you can share a room, check about amenities, make sure you're not overpaying or paying for any resort fees. Carpooling is a good idea if you can find some people that are willing to go with you. Just kind of offsets the cost, especially for parking, because not only is parking expensive, but sometimes it's a nightmare trying to find a spot. All right. And then finally, when it comes to food, you can eat at the food trucks, you can eat out, but honestly, just pack your own food, throw it in a cooler, treat it just like camping, bring an electric tea kettle. I make green tea in the room a lot, bring some honey, and it's just really chill, because you can have some people come up and, just kind of rest your feet for a little bit and enjoy good quality food that is grocery store price instead of restaurant price. There's a big difference. I mean, still all expensive lately, but you know, if you're doing your best to try to save some money, it's going to help you in the long run. So yeah, hope that helps. It's just some like quick informal tips. This is obviously not a highly technical video. You know, we're going to get into more of the nitty gritty stuff later, but I just wanted to throw this out real quick and tell you guys how I personally do it. You know, I like to have a good time. I don't want to spend a lot of money, and there's a way to do both. So, all right, y'all, stay blessed out there, have fun, and I'll see you next time.